welcome to A Star Wars Fan Reads Bantha Tracks. And this time I'm going to read Bantha Tracks issue number 26, fall 1984. And again, it is now called the Journal of the Official Star Wars Lucasfilm Fan Club. I'm looking for Star Wars information, The Empire Strikes Back, Return of the Jedi, all that stuff. Not really Lucasfilm stuff. So hopefully this will be a good one that has mostly Star Wars information. Let's begin. The 42nd Annual World Science Fiction Convention. This is promising. In 1939, science fiction fans held the first Worldcon to honor those who write, publish, and illustrate the literature they enjoy reading. It was called Nikon 1 and had a membership of 200 people. Since that time, Worldcons have grown in size, such as science fiction has grown to include other mediums such as film and radio. From August 30 to September 3, 1984, the 42nd World Science Fiction Convention, LA Con 2, was held at the Anaheim Convention Center in Anaheim, California. It had a record attendance of over 9,000 people. The Star Wars Lucasfilm Fan Club and a number of Lucasfilm Limited representatives participated in the convention in several capacities. We know if it were possible, each of you would have attended the Worldcon. We also believe that even though most of you were not there, your spirits were. Aww. Howard Kazanjian hosted a Jedi panel on Sunday with his guests Richard Marquand, Carrie Fisher, Warren Franklin, and Sidney Gandis. Prior to the moment that Richard Marquand and Carrie Fisher arrived, no one knew who Lucasfilm's surprise guest would be. The audience went wild when Howard introduced Princess Leia, Carrie Fisher. Carrie, you have been quoted as saying, Harrison Ford was given great lips by the prop department. I think he was just born with them. Carrie, what was your reaction when you discovered that you had a twin brother? I was stunned. My parents were stunned. No, I was very surprised. We had different colored eyes, but it meant I got to date Harrison. Carrie, Jabba the Hutt aside, would you be willing to work on another Star Wars film? As an old woman, I think I would like to play one of the monsters. Carrie, did you feel that the princess had enough time to develop? Throughout the whole trilogy, the characters were allowed to develop. I think being the only gal amongst a society ruled by men, they did a great job writing a strong female character. Sydney, is National Public Radio going to do a version of Return of the Jedi? At the moment, they do not have enough money to fund it as they have had in the past. Write your congressman, please. Carrie, from the 3 movies, what piece of dialogue can you quote off the top of your head? At lightning speed, Carrie rattled off the following. General Kenobi, years ago you served my father in the Clone Wars. Now he begs you to help him in his struggle against the Empire. Carrie, what are your goals now? Well, I would like to continue doing films, and I would like to learn to cook better. I enjoy taking classes and such. What deleted shot would anyone in this panel have liked to have seen in the final picture? Howard Kazanjian answers this. I would like to have seen the scene when Vader choked one of the admirals. And Carrie Fisher says, there was a Death Star scene I would like to have been in. Richard, what was it like the first day of shooting? Any professional director likes to make his actors suffer the first day. Laughter from the audience. The director asked, what is the very worst thing we could make these guys do? So we invented a sandstorm, which we didn't use. Carrie, what was your most poignant moment during the Star Wars trilogy? In each film, there were different monsters. For example, when Harrison went into carbon freeze, it just so happened we had an argument that day. So, Carrie, what was your favorite scene with Harrison Ford? Carrie gives Richard Marquand a big kiss. Carrie, in Jedi, what was the most difficult scene? I was shooting a gun one day, and every time it went off, I grimaced. They all thought I was smiling. We had to do it over and over again. The explosions were very loud. I even took gun lessons to get over that, and I didn't. Carrie, what was your most exciting scene or sequence in all 3 movies? I liked the scene in Star Wars when we did the swing across the chasm. We were so frightened. We thought surely we would hit the opposite wall and melt down its face. Carrie, in which film did you like acting as Princess Leia the best? When I first read the script for Star Wars, I couldn't believe they would be able to do all that stuff. It was something totally new. It was simply amazing. The first film was a matter of adapting to a new style of acting that was very new to me. The second one I was more familiar with. There was a lot of action to play. The third one was very challenging because I had to integrate being feminine and powerful without being angry all the time. Carrie, what was it like wearing a metal bikini? It was a problem keeping it in place. It drove the wardrobe person nuts. Richard, how do you keep your sanity when you are directing? You don't. Open. Carrie, what was it like working with Peter Cushing? He was wonderful. He was lovely. He was a perfect gentleman. Smelled of lavender every day. Carrie, what kind of food did you feed the Ewoks? I have no idea. It was some kind of pretzel. Howard Kazanjian replies, it was a rice cookie. However, it was rice cookie from another galaxy. Carrie, was there any day during filming when you said, enough is enough? During Jedi, it was the first scene filmed, the sandstorm scene, which no one ever saw. Why is it Vader didn't disappear and Ben and Yoda did? Sure wish George was here, said Richard Marquand. Howard Kazanjian. Dramatic license. A great deal of Vader was machine. Machines wouldn't disappear. As soon as the panel concluded, the crowd moved from the room and joined the line outside the building to begin the countdown to the first United States showing of the Triple Bill. At 12 a.m., the familiar strains of Star Wars A New Hope blared out. The trilogy had begun. At the closing credits of Jedi, 6 hours and 40 minutes later, the capacity crowd gave the saga a standing ovation and then, as the lights came on, drifted out into the dawn, clutching their pillows, blankets, and I Sat Through the Trilogy, September 1984, LA Con 2 buttons. Lucasfilm Limited. Inside the warehouse. A Lucasfilm warehouse theme exhibit was displayed in the exhibit area. Conceived by David Craig and Maureen Garrett, the display showcased various costumes: Darth Vader, C-3PO, R2-D2, Ewok, models, Snowspeeder, AT-AT, TIE Bomber, beings, road creature, creature prototypes, Jabba and the Max Rebo Band, props, and 2 matte paintings. Interspersed with the display cases were various one-sheets, posters, photos, and other materials culled from the films and behind the scenes. To con-goers, the most interesting piece was the indoor landing platform matte painting. Nestled in one corner of the exhibit, the landing lights blinking to guide the Imperial shuttle, the special effect captured their imaginations. Peering into the Ewoks case, one could see the inner workings of Paploo's head and imagine what it must have been like to wear that costume. The exhibit was a unique opportunity for the public to see some of the most well-known artifacts of the Star Wars universe. Star Wars Lucasfilm Fan Club Party. Early Sunday, Maureen Garrett hosted a fan club party for all interested attendees. The Star Wars saga has given us something very special. It is a catalyst for individual achievements. This is the greatness of Star Wars, and the results are what the fan club party is all about. When I saw Star Wars in 1977, the thought never entered my mind that I would someday work for the company that made the film. When I purchased my first Star Wars t-shirt in 1977, I had no idea that beginning in June of 1979, I would acquire so many more. Here are just a few of them. The club's fulfillment house in Mount Morris has over 300 employees and over 125 computer terminals. Since Jedi, they have handled over 2 million kit items. Mount Morris has a massive storage area. After an introductory slideshow history of the fan club, Maureen turned the podium over to the various special interest groups found in fandom. Participants included filk singers, fanzine writers, Star Wars social clubs, and artists, the Jedi Knights of Orange County. In 1977, a few dedicated fans pooled their talents and imaginations to form a club called the Jedi Knights of Orange County. This club encouraged those who were excited by Star Wars to explore their interests and release their talents for the fun of all. The core activity of the Jedi Knights is the club meeting held twice a month. Here, members express their ideas for projects or activities. The members have organized and participated in games, social events, post-meeting programs, and the club newsletter, The Lightsaber. In addition, individual members can pursue special interests such as astronomy, computers, and fantasy. Curious things have happened as a result of the exchange of ideas, working on other projects, and the enjoyment of the activities. The lives of some members will never be the same. What else happened at the convention? This is so cool. Star Wars fanzines. Excerpts from the talk by Maggie Nowakaska and Bev Clark. A fanzine is a fan-produced magazine. Star Wars fanzines and fan fiction appeared almost immediately after the movie. The first all-Star Wars fanzines came out in 1978, one of the first being a small 8-page zine called The Force from Southern California. My first issue of Skywalker came out in April 1978. Currently, there are about 35 all-Star Wars fanzines being produced, and they dominate what we now call media fandom. which is fandom for all visual and radio media. One thing we would like to emphasize is that Star Wars fanzines have no official connection with Lucasfilm. Star Wars fanzines are produced by fans. They are non-profit and we do it for fun. The contents are mostly fiction because we can't get enough of the story. They also contain art, poetry, and cartoons. Some contain articles about mythology and psychological aspects of the movies and their effect on people. There's also a type of fanzine called a letter zine, where people write to each other to discuss ideas or trade information about fanzine lists, to announce issue-related dates, or to request material for upcoming zines. There's also another aspect of fandom and fanzines that I have found very rewarding. Fandom gives you a chance to spread your wings. There have been a number of people in fandom who have gone from writing in fanzines and such to professional careers. So, it's more than just fun. It shows people that you can be responsible. You know how to work a project from beginning to end, and you know how to communicate to people. If any of you are thinking about doing a fanzine, go ahead, do it. Alright, what else is in Bantha Tracks? Blue Harvest Gang. Back in Bantha Tracks issue number 20, we ran an article on the Blue Harvest Gang. Here is a little more detailed account of how they earned their title. Sue Daw. I first heard something from a friend who had been dune buggying in the desert and told me, Lucasfilm was building something weird out in the desert, but we can't tell what it is. I thought, yellow sand dunes? Sounds like Tatooine to me. As the basic structure took shape, a local newspaper snapped a picture and it was shown to me. Here was a really bizarre thing up on a platform, and the accompanying article talked about Blue Harvest, a horror movie. My friends and I looked at each other and by unanimous agreement said, "That's Tatooine!" The Saturday before Easter 1982, a friend went out into the desert to see what was going on. A donut vendor spilled the beans and said that it was Jedi and that they were going to start filming it the Monday after Easter. The next Tuesday at 2 a.m., we put 5 people and a dog, who was our Gundar co-pilot, into a car and left San Diego for the Yuma Desert. When we arrived, it was just dawn with the sun coming up. It was beautiful. We saw a helicopter skimming the dunes on the right. We entered by the checkpoint, but figuring we couldn't ride in, hiked over the dunes. Eventually, we came to the top of a dune and noticed there were guards in dune buggies on top of every point of the dunes. We sat down, pulled out the binoculars, and saw R2-D2 on top of the sand barge a half a mile away. All of a sudden, a guard walked down the dune toward us. We thought, this is it, we're going to be kicked out. He came up and said, "Good morning, nice day." We replied, "Uh-huh." I finally asked, "Is this really Revenge of the Jedi?" He sort of nodded his head. I said, "Is it okay for us to be here?" And he said, "Yeah." The guard was wearing a walkie-talkie which was jabbering things. Suddenly, a woman's voice said, "Harrison Ford wants to use the station wagon, but someone took the keys." It was then that we looked at each other and exclaimed, "We're here!" During the course of 3 more visits, we watched them film sequences including Han Solo yelling nasty things about Jabba the Hutt to 3PO. Our favorite line was, "Put him in the pit." When we saw a stranger wearing black, we exclaimed, "Oh my God, it's the other." But when Mark came running out, we realized it was his stand-in. But oh my God, Luke is wearing black. "Daddy!" At one point, a man walked up to the fence and said, "You guys are real fans." We said, "Yeah, how did you know?" The man said, "Oh, we know," and he introduced himself. It was Sid Gannis, and he's been super to us ever since. Oh look! The Ewok movie! The Ewoks, the courageous furry characters introduced in the blockbuster theatrical film Return of the Jedi, brave awesome danger to aid 2 young space castaways searching for their imperiled parents in Lucasfilm The Ewok Adventure, which airs on ABC Television Network in the States and theatrically worldwide. The Ewok Adventure, directed by John Cordy, is an odyssey filled with suspense, humor, enchantment, and love, and a production alive with visual and emotional excitement. Shot in the redwoods of Northern California, filmmaking wizardry has transformed the Ewok Adventure's earthly locations into a wondrous extraterrestrial world. The crash of the Tawani family star cruiser on the forest moon of Endor sets into motion an incredible odyssey that takes 4-year-old Sindel Tawani and her older brother Mace into the unfamiliar world of the Ewoks. At first frightened, Sindel is quick to respond to the Ewoks' kindness. Brash and protective, Mace is weary of these awkward creatures and their primitive culture, but the Ewoks' pastoral life belies the wisdom, magic, and fierce courage they will bring to bear against the arduous terrain, inhospitable inhabitants, and unimaginable hazards that stand between the Tawani children and their missing parents. Starring are Eric Walker as Mace Tawani, Warwick Davis as Wicket, Fionnuala Flanagan as Katarine Tawani, Guy Boyd as Jeremit Tawani, Dan Frischman as Deej, Debbie Carrington as Weechi, Tony Cox as Whittle, Kevin Thompson as Chuka Truck, Margarita Fernandez as Kank, Pam Grizz as Shodu, Bobby Bell as Logray, and introducing Aubrey Miller as Sindel Tawani. Special guest narrator is Burl Ives. And once again, there is the art gallery where fans and members of Bantha Tracks submit their art. A message from the director. In March, Lucasfilm Limited and Fox will re-release Return of the Jedi. Sometime next fall, Lucasfilm Limited will premiere 2 animated Star Wars cartoons for Saturday morning TV. Watch for further information in upcoming issues of Bantha Tracks.
Oh my gosh!
More Star Wars, yay! Anything else in this issue? Ooh, you can buy an Ewok Adventure 1 sheet. Very cool. Ooh, you can get an official Han Solo vest as seen in Return of the Jedi. I want it. What's this? Ewok talk? Good Kush Droj. If you were an Ewok, you'd know that means hello, what's going on? Have you ever wondered what Wicket was saying? Have you ever wanted to converse with your friends in Ewokese? With the help of our Ewok translator, we have put together a guide for some basic Ewok words with their English equivalent. Acha, now you have a few words which you can use. Yup nub and yeehaw. Well, that's Bantha Tracks number 26. Thank you for watching, and may the Force be with you.